We are delighted to welcome you, our dear viewers. We are sincerely grateful that you found the opportunity to join our broadcast during such a dramatic time for Ukraine. This year, under martial law, the Ukrainian Center for Educational Quality Assessment, with the support of regional centers, our partners, and most importantly, the certification participants, ensured that an independent test of professional competences for foreign language teachers took place on the 13th of September. These teachers, despite all the challenges and risks, decided to participate in the 2025 certification of pedagogical staff. On the 16th of September, the correct answers to the test tasks were published on our website, and everyone who is interested has the opportunity to review them. However, following a good tradition, the experts of the Ukrainian Center have prepared extensive commentary and explanations for all the tasks. We hope that these comments will allow this year's certification participants to reflect on their experience once again, and will stand in good stead for potential participants in the coming years during their self-preparation. Given the significant volume of the certification work, which covers tasks from various sections of the independent testing programs, we will hold several broadcasts. During today's broadcast, we will review tasks 1 through 65, which relate to the level of English knowledge in terms of listening, reading, and use of English skills and methodology or teaching techniques. Be aware that the letters corresponding to the correct answers are shown for Workbook 1, which was publicized yesterday, so pay attention to the options themselves if the number of your workbook is different. During each broadcast, you can ask your questions in the chat, and at the end, we will dedicate time to answering them. So let's start. This task allows participants to demonstrate their ability to listen for gist, understanding the main content, and selecting the necessary information from what has been heard. As obvious, this is the first listening task. The task requires selecting 3 statements out of the 8 suggested ones corresponding to the content of the text and writing them down in alphabetical order. The right answers are: the rodent saves lives recognizing the scent of the explosive chemicals. The famous company has released a new product for its anniversary, and a newly uncovered ancient Egyptian tomb belongs to an unidentified king. The corresponding parts in the text justifying our choice are: René and his mind-sticking red bag have become famous around the world for saving innocent civilians from hidden explosives. Restaurant Constantine marks its 270th birthday with the most complicated wristwatch ever made. Archaeologists discovered the massive limestone burial chamber of a royal, leaving the name of the buried person unreadable. The next task, the same, requires selecting 3 statements out of the 8 suggested ones corresponding to the content of the text and writing them down in alphabetical order. Correct answers are: there is a place for active holidays offering hiking in the mountains. Tours perfectly suited for solo travelers are available. You can enjoy a long river cruise and learn about historical sites. Now, corresponding parts in the text justifying our choice. For the first one, activities such as winter walking tours in the Highlands, dog sledging, downhill and cross-country skiing, and an overnight stay in mountain huts by a frozen lake. New for 2026 from the Single Traveler Specialist Year Holidays is the 9-night escorted tour of Oman. A 51-day voyage along the 27-river system to explore temples, villages, crafts, and reading traditions. The next question is task 2. This task allows participants to demonstrate their ability to listen for gist, understanding the main content, and selecting specific information from what has been heard. The task includes 3 texts. Each of them has 2 multiple choice questions with 3 possible options. The task requires choosing 1 correct option for each question. Task 7 was for the first text, and the right answer is the agreement among users. Corresponding part in the text justifying that this answer is right. A crucial challenge for getting a language system to catch on is that everyone who uses it has to agree ahead of time what each symbol means or sounds like. The next question to the same text, and the correct answer is the quickly identified and interpreted. The proof from the text: pictures have some advantages over the syllabic writing systems. They require more learning and non-translation. Here we come to the 7th listening text from this task. And the question has the right answer: the book requires a thoughtful and hurried reading. Corresponding part in the text which justifies this answer is: there is no point in rushing through this book, otherwise you miss out on the meaningful parts. The next question to the same text, and the right answer is: it helps to revive her desire to be a teacher. The proof from the text: reading the stories and doing the reflection task helped me find myself again and regain my passion for education. Here is the 11th question to the 3rd text from task 2. And the correct answer is: the genre of the musical has been changed for theater standing. Corresponding part in the text to proof: what we were interested in doing was making a comedy about how to make a musical. So yes, we switched the type of literary work. The next question to the same text, and the correct answer is: to study her relationship with a stand-in. Corresponding part in the text: we always really wanted to explore the understudy and the lead and the partnership and the frustrations they lead. Here we come to task 3, and this task includes a long text where the multiple choice questions And this task allows participants to demonstrate their ability to listen for detail, completely understanding the whole passage. For question 13, the correct answer is to interact without words. And the corresponding part in the text proving this is Andrea sees art as a language-free method of communication. The next question. Correct answer is to define her exact role in the artistic profession, and the part in the text which proves it. What was quite important for me was to establish who I was first in terms of my own artistic profession, a researcher or an educator. The next question, and the right choice would be she involves her students' culture in teaching. And corresponding part in the text proving this, what is key is making sure that you are trying to bring in the cultures of your students within the delivery of your lessons. The next question you see on the screen, and the correct answer to this question is they're genuinely committed to their work. The part in the text which proves it's true, teachers work so hard, teachers do their job in such a good faith, they don't want to get it wrong. The next question, and the correct answer is learn as much as possible about each student. Corresponding part in the text. So, going out and playing football at break time with them, sitting next to them while they're having lunch, these little things mean you are building up knowledge of the children, and you'll find that they really appreciate that. Analyzing this question, it's important to choose the general over the specific to find the most essential aspect. Although all the options are mentioned in the text, we should focus on the big picture, the result. As it goes, we need to see the forest for the trees and identify the main vector. That's why C is the correct answer. The next question. And the correct answer is B, to be realistic about the teacher's job. Corresponding part in the text is they need to go in with eyes wide open about what it really is. The next question, again, to the same text. And the correct answer for it, they are necessary for personal development. Corresponding part in the text. The skill required in the future are those of creativity, problem solving, and critical thinking that are mostly developed in the arts subject. One more question, the last one to this text. And the correct answer is being self-confident hinders you from becoming a good teacher. Corresponding part in the text, which proves that it isn't true. It opposes the text, as we have this sentence in the text. They've got to be confident to show children how much they love their subject. Other options are mentioned. Now we move to task 4. Tasks 4 and 5 are assigned to the same text. The numbers of the paragraphs in the text refer to task 5. But now we will look into the questions to task 4. This task allows participants to demonstrate their ability to read for detail, completely understanding the whole passage. It includes 7 multiple choice questions on the text with 4 possible options each. The task requires choosing one correct option for each question. As you see, question 21. The correct Question. The correct answer is explorers avoid well-trodden routes. Corresponding part in the text to prove it. Tourism is distinguished from exploration and that tourists follow a beaten path. It means that the opposite one will be about explorers who do not follow well-trodden routes. The next question, and the right answer is advancement of social interaction. Corresponding part in the text proving this, the tourism industry offers a wealth of opportunities, not just for economic growth, but also for cultural exchange and environmental awareness. We do not have any information about the statements A, B, or C in the text. The next question, you see it, and the answer is tourism initially emerged as an educational practice. Corresponding part in the text justifying this answer is we can trace the origin of the modern concept of tourism back to the 17th century, when young nobles from Western and Northern European countries made what was called the Grand Tour, a trip around Europe with the goal of soaking up history, art, and cultural heritage. Other options are not mentioned in the text. Question 24, and the correct answer for it is popularity of local sites. Corresponding part in the text is right. In recent years, with low-cost flights and the existence of accommodations managed by online companies, it is much easier for tourists to afford to travel, and they can design their itinerary and experiences to their liking. As you see here, all the possibilities mentioned except popularity of local sites. The next question, and the correct answer for this question is B. Tourists try to view local attractions from fresh perspectives. We can find in the text the viewing of these tourist sites often involves different forms of social patterns, with a much greater sensitivity to visual elements of landscape or townscape that is normally found in everyday life. People linger over these sites in a way that they would not normally do in their own environment. The next question, and the correct answer is C, a person's profession. All the options are mentioned throughout the passage except professions. Question 27. The correct answer for this question is B. Tourist daydreams are maintained by media products. The corresponding part in the text fully describes such anticipation is constructed and sustained through a variety of non-tourist practices, such as films, TV, literature, magazines, records, and videos, which construct and reinforce this daydream. Here we come to task 5, which is to the same text, and this task allows participants to demonstrate their ability to read for specific information and for gist again. Because this task requires choosing headlines for 6 paragraphs out of 9 options. The first correct answer, the first paragraph, is answer E, diversity of contemporary tourist forms. Corresponding part, in the text. This gives rise to Cheer's categories such as business tourism, sports tourism, and medical tourism, with explanation. The next one, the next one is age, the meaning of tourism as an activity, because in this paragraph you can read the popular concept of tourism is that it is organized within particular places and occurs for regularized periods of time. The journey and the stay are by definition outside the normal places of residence and work, and are of short-term and temporary nature, and there is a clear intention to return home within a relatively short period of time. The next is F, evolution of tourism from its pastime to mass industry. In this paragraph, you can trace the origin of the modern concept of tourism back to the 17th century, when young nobles from Western and Northern European countries made what was called the Grand Tour. Today, the tourist sector has become one of the great economic engines in many countries. The next paragraph's headline is age, the meaning of tourism as an activity. Corresponding part in the text. Transport innovation the popular concept of tourism is that it is organized within particular places and occurs for a regularized period of time. Now, question 31. The correct answer is I. Factors promoting tourism development. Corresponding part of the text proven this. Transport innovation was an essential enabler of tourism's spread and democratization and its ultimate globalization. The next paragraph, answer is D, shaping artificial tourist experiences. Corresponding part in the text proven clear right. The mass tourist travels is guided routes and finds pleasure in inauthentic contrived attractions, gullibly enjoying the pseudo events and disregarding the real world outside. And the last paragraph is G. Tourism as a product of social differentiation and a globalized status symbol. Corresponding part in the text proving this, tourism became an even bigger business internationally. Travel is a marker of status in modern society. Other options don't fit in the text. Now we come to task 7. This task allows participants to demonstrate their ability to understand the content and structure of the text and to recognize the cohesive relations between parts of the text. A few sentences have been removed from the text, and the task requires completing the paragraphs in the text with appropriate sentences from the given option. There are 2 extra options. The first paragraph, you see this corresponding part from the text on your screens. And the correct answer is E. Ancient Greeks made fun of place to cope during the long and devastating Peloponnesian War. This is true because the sentence before mentioned the long history of addressing topics. The next paragraph. The corresponding part from the text is on your screens, and the correct answer is B. However, I thought it would be nearly impossible to find comedians willing to touch on this topic. This answer is correct because the following sentence as you can see, expresses surprise that a lot of comedians took the stage. The next part of the text is on your screen, and the correct answer is G. People who obviously already know that comedy is a coping mechanism. This is true because it refers to the people from the offices who understand the value of a comedy. The next one, you see the part of the text with the gap in it on your screens, and the correct answer is C. A few years ago, I even started writing about my experience with burnout and eco-anxiety online. This answer is correct because the sentence is connected with the previous one about despair and the following one about the overwhelming reaction of the people. The next part of the text with a gap, and the correct answer here is A. When I didn't hide from the audience that I was angry and tired, they listened all the more closely. This answer is correct because it's about the author's best performances when the author is honest. This approach makes a difference. The last one, the last corresponding part from the text with the gap in it, and the correct answer for this gap is F. And in the climate movement, we need all hands on deck. This question is correct because it's a final appeal to a scientist, artists, and comedians who are mentioned in the next sentence. This is the end of part reading.
Task 7. Task 7 requires completing sentences in the text with words from the given options. The objective of the task is to check the ability to distinguish the meaning of lexical units according to the context. Question 14. The correct answer is A, access. The context implies that subscribers pay for the ability to use the tools which is defined as access. Why others are wrong? And implies physical admittance. License is a legal permission, but access is a more common term for paying to use service. Control implies power over the tools, which is incorrect. Therefore, entry, license, and control do not suit the meaning of paying and subscription fee to use the service. Question 41. The correct answer is B, intense. The word intense is an adjective that correctly modifies interest to show that the company's business has generated a great deal of interest. The other options are not used in this context. Question 42. The correct answer is D, empower. Empower means to make someone stronger and more confident, especially in controlling their life and claiming their rights. In this case, it suggests AI can make journalists more effective or capable. This directly contrasts with the unemployed. Why others are wrong? Allow, predict, and threaten do not provide the same strong, direct contrast to unemployed and don't suit the context of the sentence. Question 43. The correct answer is B, praise. In the context of financing startups or charity, the standard word used for a company receiving investment money is to raise capital or raise funds. When a company receives money from investors, the correct word to describe this action is to raise capital or funds. The other options are incorrect because earn implies getting money through labor or service. Secured and drawn can be used in financial contexts, but are not the standard expression for this specific type of investment. Question 44. The correct answer is C, bundle. The word bundle is the most appropriate noun here. A bundle is a collection of things wrapped or tied together, which accurately describes combining multiple articles into a single collection. The context describes combining articles from writers. It also refers to an intangible things. The other options are incorrect because punk is an informal term for a large piece of something. Batch refers to a group of things made at the same time. Profile is a description of a person and company. None of these fits the context of combining articles. Question 45. The correct answer is D, got off. The full idiom is get off the ground, which means for a project or business to begin to be successful. It perfectly suits the context of a new business idea, family becoming a reality. The other options are incorrect because got out of, got up, and got over are common phrasal verbs, but none of them have a meaning that suits the context of a project or business starting successful. Question 46. The correct answer is A, intact. The word intact means not damaged or impaired in any way. The context suggests that even with AI advancements, the fundamental human element of writing remains unchanged. Why other options are incorrect? Innate means inborn, which doesn't fit the context, as the human part of writing is more about skill than inherent trait. Entire and some do not convey the idea of something remaining whole or unchanged despite external pressures. Question 47. The correct answer is B, mock. The word mock is used as an adjective here to mean not real or genuine, a practice or imitation. A mock interview is a standard collocation for a trial or practice interview which perfectly fits the description of using ChatGPT to prepare for a real one. Dry panel and proxy do not fit the context. Task 8. We are assessing the appropriate use of various grammatical structures within the context. Let's analyze question 48. The correct answer is C. 24-year-olds. The sentence requires a possessive adjective to describe whose childish behavior is being observed. The phrase 24-year-old is a compound adjective. To make it possessive, we add an apostrophe and an S. 20-year-olds correctly functions as the possessive noun phrase, indicating that the behavior belongs to a 24-year-old man. We don't normally use plural forms in compound adjectives. That's why other options are incorrect. Question 49. The correct answer is A, take. The phrase why not is a common expression used to make a suggestion. It's always followed by the base form of the verb without to or any other endings. All other forms cannot be used here. Task 8, question 15. The correct answer is B, to develop. The sentence contains a for-to infinitive construction which requires an infinitive to express the purpose for which visual spatial skills are necessary. Question 51. The correct answer is A, through. The preposition through is a correct choice because it indicates the means or method by which something is achieved. Molded through arts is a common and natural sounding phrase. It means shaped by means of art. Why other options are incorrect? Or with B can indicate an instrument, but through is a better fit for process of medium. Inter, C, would suggest a change in state which doesn't fit the context of the process. From, D, would indicate a source, which is also incorrect here. Question 52. The correct answer is D, none. The word none is a pronoun that means not any, and it's typically followed by or of there when referring to a specific group or set. The sentence structure offers of the protections requires a word that can function as a quantifier for protections. Question 43. The correct answer is A, to rely on. The phrase to safety net, no safety net, needs a purpose clause to explain what the safety net is for. The infinitive form, to rely on, is a correct way to express this purpose. The sentence reads, they would have no safety net to rely on. So all the rest do not suit this grammatical structure. Question 54. The correct answer is A, should be classed. The sentence discusses a possibility of proposal, are now exploring new regulations. The modal verb should is used to express recommendation or desirable course of action. The phrase should be classed is in a possessive voice, which is appropriate because the gig workers are the subjects of the action being classed, not the ones performing them. The other options are grammatically incorrect. Question 55. The correct answer is B, whatever. Whatever is a determiner or pronoun meaning of no matter what. The phrase whatever the final outcome is a common collocation used to introduce a statement that is true regardless of a preceding events or situation. The other options are incorrect because, however, is a conjunctive adverb used to show contrast. Whichever is a determiner used when there is a choice between a limited number of things. Wherever refers to place. None of these words fits the grammatical or logical context of the sentence. Task 9. Assesses participants' theoretical and practical readiness for professional activity, the ability to select and use appropriate teaching methods, pedagogical tools, and evaluation strategy. Question 56. The correct answer is B, as it's the definition for the competency according to the state standards. Question 57. The correct answer is C, exchanging ideas. Interactive speaking is a dynamic two-way process. It requires the speaker and the listener to exchange and back and forth exchange. The primary purpose is to communicate and understand each other's thoughts, feelings, and information. Therefore, the core of interactive speaking is the exchange of ideas between two or more people. Question 58. The correct instruction for teaching students to read or gist is C. Read the text, which is the main idea of the text. Here why reading or gist means to understand the main idea of the text, not details or specific words. The other options are incorrect because focus on specific details, which is the opposite of reading or gist. Question 59. The correct answer is B. The task requires students to interact directly with other students to gain the information. The interaction pattern is a student-to-student activity, as the teacher is not the primary source of information or the person the students are speaking to. The teacher's role is primarily to set up the task and monitor, not to be the main person interacting with each student individually or as an interviewer who will communicate with one peer at a time, not with a whole group of students. Question 60. The correct answer is B. Present, practice, produce. The description perfectly aligns with the three strategies of the PPP model. Present, the topic and targets are introduced at the outset. This is the teacher's role in presenting the new language, grammar, or vocabulary. Practice. The activities during the lesson progress from more to less controlled practice. Produce. At the end, the learners can use the language in a personal way for their communication. Question 61. The correct answer is C. The main aim of this page is to focus on grammar in context. The teacher is asking students to go back to a text they have already read for comprehension and identify specific grammatical structures, present simple, past simple, for example. This activity is not about introducing a new grammar point, as the students are already familiar with the tenses. Instead, it serves to reinforce the understanding of how these grammar points are used naturally within a real text. By finding examples of the tenses in their original context, students can better understand their function and usage rather than just learning them as isolated rules. Question 62. The correct answer is C. Asking to bring the photos of the students' pets and talk about them encourage students to speak on the topic animals, and it's connected with their lives. The primary reason the teacher asks students to bring photos is to personalize an activity, to make it more engaging and motivating. Question 63. The correct answer is B. The best solution for the teacher's problem is to encourage interest in grade readers and researching topics on the internet. This option directly addresses the problem. Graded readers provide interesting story-based texts that are specifically written at a student's language level. Researching topics on the internet allows students to choose subjects that genuinely interest them, providing them with an authentic, engaging content that goes beyond the confines of the coursework. This solution gives students a wider range of reading choices, making the activity more enjoyable and relevant. Question 64. The correct answer is C. The most effective advice to encourage learner autonomy is C. Train students to use reference resources to help them study successfully on their own. This option directly addresses the core concept of autonomy, which is the ability to take control of one's own learning. Question 65. The correct answer is D, brainstorming. In this activity, the students generate ideas, all of which are relevant, correct, and possible. This activity is a classic example of brainstorming. The teacher has provided a topic, a trip to visit archaeological sites, and the students working in groups are generating a list of related ideas, things they want to take with them. The goal is to produce as many ideas as possible in a short amount of time, a core feature of brainstorming. Thank you very much for your attention.
This was the last question and the end of our explanation. Now, we've got some questions from you in our chat. So, we will stop the presenting and we'll answer some of your questions. Оскільки було прохання відповідати на питання українською мовою, ми так і поступимо. Якщо хтось бажає отримати відповідь англійською мовою, ми теж можемо це зробити. Питання. Ми працюємо в звичайних школах. Покажіть хоч один шкільний підручник, який містить завдання типу Task 1, Task 2. Дуже гарне питання, дякуємо за нього. Мене тільки цікавить, чому шкільний підручник повинен містити завдання для вчителів. Більш того, якщо ми будемо говорити про автентичні підручники, то вони містять завдання такого типу. Але також заразом відповідаю на питання, які були раніше, до нас зверталися колеги з питаннями, що це не рівень Б2. Так, це не рівень Б2. Як ви знаєте, рівень Б2 – це рівень, який перевіряється в учнів на кінець 11 класу. Саме рівень Б1 плюс Б2 – це рівень зовнішнього незалежного оцінювання і зараз національного мультитесту. Вчителі мають професійний стандарт, на який ми орієнтуємося. Це Professional Standard, European Framework, ви розумієте, CFR, і згідно цьому самому CFR ми визначаємо наші рівні, тому рівень вчителя proficiency level – це С1, С1 плюс і, можливо, бажано С2. Ми на такий рівень не замахувалися. Максимальний рівень, на який розрахований наш тест, це Б2, Б2 плюс, С1. С1. Тому що ми вчителі. І було б навіть дивно, аби ми заставили вчителів здавати ЗНО або НМТ. Ні, це сертифікація для вчителів, і level proficiency вимагає рівня С1. Тому, звичайно, що в шкільних підручниках саме таких завдань, можливо, немає. Цікаве питання про те, що ці завдання Task 1 не тестують можливість, здатність слухати для загального розуміння, але, як ви знаєте, завдання на встановлення відповідності тверджень або заголовків до абзацу тексту, це вважається listening practice. Тому не знаю, чому виникли такі питання. Хоча, як ви бачили на екрані, ми зазначали, що це не тільки practice, ну і частково по specific information, але загальне розуміння таке. Чому вчителям не було дана можливість послухати двічі під час запису? Давайте так, ми зараз відповідаємо на питання з методики, на питання по змісту, а питання, які залежать від технічної сторони, ми ці питання будемо розглядати трошки пізніше. Обов'язково надамо нам ці відповіді. Відповіді будуть вам надані, будь ласка, пишіть на пошту, можливо, щось буде розміщено на сайті, тому ви матимете можливість отримати відповіді на питання. Ще є питання, чому у 23-му питанні ми вважаємо, що nobles – це не political agent. Ну, давайте, nobles – це благородні люди, тобто це не відноситься до політиків, це відносилося до дворян, до верхніх прошарків суспільства, які не обов'язково йшли в політику, бо це говорилося про минулі часи, про 17-18 сторіччя і так далі. Тому відповідь досить проста. Ми дуже дякуємо вам за увагу. Я наскільки розумію, інших відповідей немає, інших питань, я вибачаюся, немає. Тому, будь ласка, ви вільні писати нам, ми раді будемо відповідати на ваші питання. Якщо є якісь важливі питання, будь ласка, зв'язуйтеся з нами, дивіться інформацію на сайті. Дякуємо вам, що ви до нас приєдналися.
Дякуємо за увагу. Бажаємо всього найкращого.